Get right into it.
Candidate, and Ryan Bodenheimer, former US combat pilot, aka Max Afterburner. Well, welcome to all of you. We're talking there with Michael Wolff about Iran in particular becoming a millstone around Trump's neck, which he's finding increasingly difficult to get off. Josh Hammer, is this going to become his kind of sword of Damocles the longer this goes on?
I'm not sure that's true, but here's what I have been pushing for personally is I want the administration to clarify exactly what the goals are here in Iran. I find that kind of baffling, frankly, that we're 3.5 months in now, actually even longer than that, I guess. 4.5 months since February 28th, back when Epic Fury launched with the decapitation strike of Khamenei. We haven't actually gotten a clear, direct message to the American people as to what exactly we are seeking to accomplish from this goal. I thought maybe there's a chance that this past Thursday, the primetime address, maybe the president would go there, but he decided to focus exclusively on election integrity, which I do think is a very worthy topic, but it's not neither here nor there. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what is the viable, sustainable off-ramp here. If we define victory solely as a free and open Strait of Hormuz, that's fine, but I think that is defining it down relative to what most people thought the expectations were back on February 28th when this thing launched. It's very hard to say how long it's going to go on until we have any sense as to what we're trying to accomplish. So unless until we get some clarity, Piers, when it comes to war names, I think it's basically impossible to answer your question. But I think the White House is definitely frustrated when it comes to how long this thing is going on. My suggestion to them is to define some clear war aims and then to rip the Band-Aid off ASAP. Define what we're doing and then go in fast and furious, finish this darn thing, and then get it.
Well, let's be real. It looks like we're just trying to bomb them into submission, but our intelligence already told Trump that that's most likely not going to work. Actually, we're sure that that's not going to work. You can't bomb the Iranians into submission. So if that's your goal, all you're doing is wasting munitions because they're not just going to surrender because we're constantly bombing them. And if here's the thing, if that's not the goal, then what? Because that's all what we're seeing right now is just continuous bombing. I mean, like I said, with the IRGC still being in power, them still able to throw missiles and drones throughout the region, and of course, them still being able to shut down the strait. Like I said, what's the goal here? How long is this going to keep on going? Because it kind of sounds like we should have just kept on going with the memorandum of understanding, no matter how bad the terms were.
Right. Max Afterburner, I mean, you said that the mullahs and IRGC are panicking after 7 straight nights of US bombing and said Iran's reckoning has only just begun. I don't really see it like that. I mean, I see them immediately responding as they have done throughout this by attacking Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, the neighboring Gulf states. They know that coupled with controlling the Strait of Hormuz is way more effective than doing anything to repel conventional military attacks from the Americans or the Israelis. And I just don't see that this is doing anything other than carrying on now into an ongoing quagmire.
Yeah, well, good to see everybody today. And Pierce, I think that's a really good point. I mean, proxy warfare is what they're the best at. That's what they're going to do. So I think the panicking we're seeing is the fact of the back and forth. I mean, we've heard from the administration that they were literally in the process of making a deal and the regime ran out of the room because they're answering to the mullahs, the IRGC bosses that are in the Strait of Hormuz. There's no clear leadership chain in Iran. So when I say they're panicking, no one really knows who's in charge of Iran right now.
Oh, come on now, bro. That is old propaganda. It's like we all know that the Ayatollah is in control of Iran. There is no stable leadership inside of Iran. Wanna know why? Because if there was one, I'm being real with you, we'd hear differently between the negotiators and the IRGC, but they're all on the same page. Whatever the IRGC say, the negotiators are saying. Whatever the negotiators are repeating, the IRGC is repeating. So there's actually some cohesion here. Like they're actually working together, sadly. So it's kind of crazy how they sit there and try to sell this story that, oh no, they're falling apart, guys. Don't worry, it's gonna end soon. They're fighting in the inside. No, they're not. Did you not just see that 4 million man funeral that they had? 4 million people attended. Does that look like the regime's about to fall when they got over 1 million people pulling up to the old leader's funeral? Does that sound like a regime that's about to fall, guys? When a leader dies, you got over 1 million people pulling up to the funeral, because it doesn't sound like that to me. I'm just gonna be so honest. But like I said, they'll still say it a lot.
by the way, it's probably the hardest liners that have the most power over the military. And so that's why I think we continuously see them say, we're going to make a deal. We're going to sign the MOU. And then a couple of days later, they launch ballistic missiles or they launch cruise missiles at ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
Bro, what? What are you talking about, dude? We already signed the memorandum of understanding long before they started shooting missiles in the Strait. Like, we were under the memorandum of understanding, under that ceasefire, while they were shooting those ships in the Strait. What are you talking about? You got the timelines mixed up.
And that puts the U.S. in a position where you got to respond. You can't let the mullahs say they're going to sign something and then go back on it without some sort of a consequence. I mean, you're dealing with gangsters and terrorists. So I think President Trump, what he's doing is he's maneuvering real time. He's trying to pivot just like he would in business. He's a deal maker. He wants an off ramp. And in the art of war, you guys have all probably read The Art of War.
Yeah.
You give your enemy an off ramp.
Yeah, but the problem here, Andrew Callaghan, the problem here is that he's obviously looking for an off ramp, but there's no obviously easy off ramp. And I don't think Trump has the stomach politically, never mind anything else, to commit a load of American ground forces to this. So on this specific issue of the enriched uranium, for example, if the Iranians are just going to literally dig in and leave it buried deep under the ground and not seed 1 centimeter of enriched uranium, I'm not sure what the Americans can do about it.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think
so where are we?
Ground invasion.
Well, let me let Andrew extrapolate that. Where do you feel we are with this war then?
I mean, I think that, I expected it to kind of wrap up, I guess, given the extreme amount of extreme lack of domestic support for the war. I expected it to wrap up around the first ceasefire. I'm disappointed and surprised to see that it's continuing. But I was just in Iran a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty hectic out there, and they seem pretty determined to see.
Here's the problem. Yeah, there's a whole lot of a whole lot of disapproval, okay? Nobody, well, I'm be real with you. Most of Americans do not support this war. They don't see where it's going. Shoot, they don't even agree on how we got into it. So trust me, to keep continuing a war that they didn't sell to the American people, that most of the American people don't agree with, is kind of going to drag on. It's kind of going to drag on people's mind. Like, hold on, why are we continuing this, knowing it's unpopular, knowing that midterms is coming up? Like, why are we doing this? Like Republicans are literally shooting themselves in the foot for midterms, and then they're about to sit there and cry about, oh, communists and leftists and and the liberals are going to take over. It's like, bro, you're letting them. At this point, you damn near sacrifice the midterms for war with Iran. I mean, don't get mad at us. Blame yourself.
This through and are very resistant to any kind of regime change or making any kind of concessions to the U.S. So I'm not surprised that it's keeping going, and I feel like an end is probably nowhere in sight.
And if that is the case, Andrew, where does that leave the Republicans, the midterm elections, Trump's legacy? I mean, I said right at the start of this, he could be torching the whole thing, right? If he's not careful, if you get to the, August, September, October, and this is still going on, then this could cost him everything.
Yeah, especially if you're talking about the Gen Z, right? Like on the 4th of July, I did some interviews at a patriotic event in Alaska, and you can see pretty much everybody under the age of 40 was staunchly anti-Trump, looking for a clean slate in 2028. Some even advocating to vote for Democrats in the midterms just to prohibit someone like Vance from being able to take office in the future.
Yep, they're following the Nick Fuentes plan that we're just going to punish the Republicans so bad for not really handling immigration. They said they were, well, handling one side. Well, honestly, no, never mind. They're not really handling immigration like they are. They're pretty much trying to let off the undocumented immigrants who are on the farm, the construction side, and all that good stuff. So they're letting go on that, guys. Just remember that. Oh, they didn't do anything with the H-1B visas. Like, guys, we let in about 85,000 H-1B visas. You know how much we let in? Like, oh, and that's our cap. We hit the cap last year and the year before that under Biden. So nothing has really changed with that as well. So you can understand why MAGA or America First is pretty upset with Trump, and why people are so angry that they're going like, bro, you even got us into a war even after not fulfilling your promises either. Okay, yeah, let's just vote in the Dems and let's see what they're going to do. Since y'all want to fearmonger and cry about it and crash out, all right, great. Let's give you a reason to crash out. And that's what's going on.
So, but then if you talk to older people,
I know some people could be a bit childish, but hey, it is what it is.
like, the more traditional, I guess, boomer, late Gen X MAGA crowd, they're still, into the idea of the Iran war continuing, eliminating the threat of terrorism across the globe, as they say. But yeah, I think it's generationally split. I haven't seen any, like most of my, I guess, friends who were young MAGA back during 2020 and the previous election have now totally went away from it and are looking for a new candidate and a new right-leaning alternative.
Yeah, Curtis Lee, well, welcome back to you to Uncensored. What's your sense about the political risk here for Donald Trump?
The other night, when I saw our president speaking about election integrity, Pierce, I heard Ozzy Osbourne singing Crazy Train in my ear. That was crazy. Didn't even mention this war, will not address the American people, keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper in. And who got us into this war? Bibi Netanyahu. He sold the decapitation of the leadership to Trump, and Trump signed off on it. Then Trump complained after they wiped out Ayatollah Senior and 40 of the key leaders. Oh, we had the B group to deal with, but Bibi went in and wiped them out too. Now this so-called Ayatollah Jr. refuses to surface. People have a hit on them by the defense minister, Katz, of Israel. Bibi needs to stay out of it, because every time he gets involved, he gets us deeper and deeper. And let's face it, I'm proud of our Vice President Vance for laying it out with Joe Rogan that Bibi and a certain number of his cabinet members and supporters do not want the peace process to work. I want peace. I think
no, they don't want the peace process to work, and they want us to handle Iran and Hezbollah for them. So Israel just want to kick back and chill while we do all the work for them. Again, and the Zionists are going to let them do it again.
everybody should be advocating peace. Bibi does not want peace, and he's trying to undermine it. So high five to Vice President Vance for laying that out, that Bibi is one of our biggest problems. And remember, he had his tactical air support, Lindsey Graham, no longer with us, who didn't know a war he didn't want us to get in. Bomb Mexico, annex Canada, take Greenland, invade Iraq, invade Iran, bomb Syria, bomb Libya. They're like two peas in a pod, warmongers. Enough of this.
Josh Hammer, I want to play a clip from that JD Vance.
No, here's the thing, though. Like, bro, Israel can do whatever the hell they want. I honestly don't care. The problem is that they drag us into it, and then they expect us to do their bidding. Like, guys, last night on the news, last night on Fox News, you had Jesse Waters literally bragging to be a faithful goy for Israel, talking about, oh yeah, we're going to go in and take care of Hezbollah for them. We're going to go in, train some troops, and go ahead and take care of Hezbollah, and we're going to go ahead and fight Iran for Israel as well, because we're just the best goy ever. In Israel, they could just sit down and be the chosen people. It's like, are you freaking serious, bro? So we got to go to war, waste our blood and treasure. But Israel, though, they get to chill, though. They get to chill, but we got to go out there and waste our blood and treasure. Gotcha. Okay. Shows your loyalty.
Appearance on Joe Rogan, because it was very interesting how he answered some of these questions.
Well, the narrative is that Israel has a very disproportionate effect on American politics.
Yeah, I see that. I see that narrative. I mean, I actually think that they look, do they try to influence American politics? Yes. But like I said earlier, a lot of other countries do. I think
to the extent that Israel does,
I think some are better at it than others. I think the Israelis are definitely more effective at it than most, but I wouldn't say that
it's going to be so real with you. The reason why, like, I kind of hate when people try to say, well, other countries do it too. Yeah. Well, can you tell me a war that we've, like, got dragged into because of China, because China puts money into our schools? You can't. Can you tell me a war that we got into because Qatar puts money into our schools or whatever? You can't. But we can name a whole lot of wars that Bibi Netanyahu or the AIPAC, pro-Zionist congressmen and senators have pretty much sold to us, and that we've acted on it on their foreign policy. I mean, I'm sorry, but you can't compare that to anything else. I mean, look, they could be spending more money than Israel, but Israel still got more influence. They got like a real religious ideological hold on a lot of our congressmen and senators. Shit, even the president, sadly. Like, this is the sad reality here. Like, god damn. But hey, it is what it is, I guess.
they're the only effective country by any means that tries to influence American politics. I just think you have to be self-aware about it. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a country of 9 million people. We have 330 million people. And so, of course, they're going to try to persuade Americans. They're going to try to move Americans in one direction or another. I think that's just the nature of the beast.
I mean, Josh, that's the furthest I've heard a senior member of the Trump administration go to what people on the pro-Israeli side always try and frame as a sort of anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, right? And yet he's doing it on a podcast with Joe Rogan. And by the way,
no, it's so funny because like the vice president pretty much been saying what everybody been saying about Israel for a minute, absent the whole genocide. But he's been pretty much saying what we've all been saying. And I wonder how you guys are going to take it. I mean, it's the vice president, guys. He's saying everything that I was saying. What is he anti-Semitic now? Is he a Jew hater? What you going to say about him?
The vast majority of people now would agree with him.
So there were other things that the vice president said during that interview that I objected to. I did not like the insinuation that Jeffrey Epstein might have had some Mossad connection. That is pure speculation. There is literally not a morsel of evidence to support that I've ever seen, like literally ever. There were lots of other things in the interview.
I mean, is being basically best friends with the old defense minister and the old president of Israel not, convincing enough? I mean, you said he had like, there's no connection that he had to Israel, nothing about the Mossad. I mean, hold on now. He was friends with an old president and an old defense minister. So you can't say that. Like, what was his name? Ehud Barak? Yeah, that was his name, Ehud Barak. So you can't say he had no ties to Israel. That's completely insane. You're gaslighting people.
That I thought were quite bad and at times even borderline disgraceful. That clip right there actually appears. I did not really have personally a particularly big problem with it. I think it's axiomatic. It's basically self-evident that all sorts of foreign countries register FAR agents. They tried to lobby on Capitol Hill. Israel, actually, comparatively, for those who actually care about facts, has a much smaller FAR registered foreign agent presence than many countries. If I'm not mistaken, I think Qatar actually has more FAR registered agents in DC than any country around the world. Qatar,
well, like I said, if Qatar pulled up to us and said, "Hey, yo, yeah, we're about to start attacking this country A," are we going to do it? No. But if Israel does it, yeah, we're going to go out there and do it for some reason. I mean, bro, can the king of, what was it? The emir of Qatar, can he pull up and be like, "Hey, yeah, I need you to, hey, you guys need to handle this country, and this country because they're threats to the region." Are we going to listen to that dude? Are we going to go off to that word? No, we're not. But if Bibi does it, I mean, for some reason we commit to it. And he did. And that's exactly what we did. He gave us a list of countries. We committed to destabilizing these countries. And the only one that's left on the list is Iran. Ain't that something?
And pumping, of course, billions of dollars into American higher education. China, the UAE, Saudis have all done the same thing for years and years. So I didn't actually have a huge problem with that clip. I do think it's worth addressing some of the things that Mr. Sliwa was saying. The notion that Bibi talked to Donald Trump into doing this, I think, is nuts. They met in Mar-a-Lago around New Year's Eve.
I'm just gonna be real. It's like, come on now. We ain't got no senators that's out there going like, we should support Qatar. We should support the emir of Qatar. The Qatar is our greatest ally. Praise Allah. It's like, inshallah. But like, bro, like, do you see the problem here? Like, we don't have that, and they put in more money than them. So yeah, it's a good point that they put in more money, but that just goes to show how much influence you guys got. You're getting more influence here with less money. It's like, yo.
December, and the reporting at the time actually was that Donald Trump was the aggressor in that conversation. I'm not saying that Bibi didn't want to go in for Iran. In many ways, Iran has been the focal point of his entire public career. But Donald Trump, based on the reporting, the contemporaries reporting at the time, was the more aggressive one in that conversation.
But we now know, Josh, hang on. We now know from all the extensive New York Times reporting a few weeks into the war, and also from the new book that's come out recently by two of their top journalists, we know what happened here. We know that Netanyahu went to see Trump multiple times in the build-up to his war. We know that it ended up with a meeting in the White House Situation Room with the head of Mossad joining remotely. And we know that they laid out a sequence of events. I've talked about this many times on the show.
Yeah, but Piers, you were talking to Michael Wolff before we came on here. And one of the things that Mike Wolff correctly talked about, he's totally correct on this, Trump has been obsessed with Iran for his entire adult lifetime. There's literally there's clips of him talking about this when
I'm talking about being persuaded.
Yeah, but that was in the 80s. You should have seen how bad things went in the 90s and the early 2000s for him to know better. Like, that was young Trump. So here's the thing: current Trump, 2016, the most current interview, you got Trump talking about no new wars. I remember there was a video where he said, "Oh, if Obama gets into war with Iran, he's an idiot. He don't know how to negotiate." Then what the fuck does this guy go and do? Get into a war with Iran because he can't negotiate? And didn't he say that if Obama does that he's an idiot? So pretty much Trump just pretty much called himself what? An idiot, sadly. Like, and all he had to do was just not get into war with Iran, just help out with affordability, bring manufacturing back. That's all he had to do, bro. He need, like, swear to God, that's all he had to do, but he just had to fuck that up. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so irritated, but it is what it is. Let's get back to it. Oh, guys, and if you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, feel free to super chat it in or send in a Venmo. Other than that, guys, make sure to double tap that screen or smash that like button, depending on how you're watching.
To act when he did, because they presented a set of facts to him that involved that there was an opportunity to take out the Ayatollah and his top people, and that if that happened and America went in with Israel and did that, mindful of the 12-day war the year before when Iran didn't put up much of a fight, that what would happen is the IRGC would collapse from within, the people would rise up, everyone would be too distracted to worry about the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the first thing happened, but none of the rest of it happened. And now the Ayatollah has been replaced by his more radical son. Yep. He's surrounded by people who are probably even more.
Bro, with the craziest vengeance story. It's like, you guys got to understand who's in power right now. Like, Maja Khomeini is the old Ayatollah Ali Khomeini's son. And this guy has the craziest vengeance story going for him. Because you got to remember, when the United States, or we in Israel pretty much decided to strike his house, we killed him. And so basically, we're talking about, we killed the current Ayatollah's father, mother, wife, and daughter, all in one strike, guys. All in one strike. So when I tell you that we're dealing with hardliners, trust me, we're dealing with people where it's the last thing that they want to do is work a deal with us. If it wasn't for the fact that this guy literally had to run a country, he would probably go into all-out war with us. So no, guys, we don't got moderates. We're literally negotiating with somebody that we've literally killed his entire family all in one strike. Like, bro, daughter too. Like, come on now. So when people sit there and try to lie to you and talk about what you mean, we bombed out the radicals, we got moderates now. Who? The Ayatollah's son? Like the same son that we bombed his whole family in? Like that one? That's our moderate. That's our moderate now. Are you sure about that? I don't know, man. That's the risky gamble right there.
Radical because of what happened at the start of the war than their predecessors. The regime remains completely intact. There's been no public uprising at all. And you've got the asymmetric stuff going on with the Strait and with the attacks on the Gulf state neighbors. And you put it all together and you have to conclude, if you have a rational mind about this, that not that Trump was told to do this and just went along like a lapdog. I've never believed that about Trump, but that he was persuaded by the argument from
Oh, guys, like I said, if you got any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, please feel free to super chat that in, especially the disagreeers. Go ahead and put your money where your mouth is, or you can just cry in the chat. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get right back into it. Because, boy.
Yahoo, that this series of events was achievable. And actually, it's turned out to not be achievable. And
okay, so I wrinkled. Fine, fair enough. But a wrinkle in this timeline is that they met in Mar-a-Lago around New Year's Eve, late December. Another thing that Michael Wolff said that's totally accurate is that this administration, I think, was buoyed from their success in Venezuela. When did that happen? That was about a week, actually, after Bibi met Trump in Mar-a-Lago. So I think the administration absolutely was feeling a little bit cocky, a little bit full of itself, a little bit overambitious, a little bit overconfident as to what it could achieve in rapid fire fashion on the world stage after the staggering success of Operation Absolute Resolve to get Nicolas Maduro in the dead of night, the Delta Force, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that timeline deeply, deeply complicates this facile, all too convenient narrative that Curtis.
Well, I think Curtis wants to come in on that. So, Curtis?
Oh, yeah.
Right,
hold on a second. The president dropped the F-bomb on BB over and over. He's effing crazy. The president has told him.
What's actually funny is that Donald Trump trusts the head chopping Al Qaeda goons, the head chopping Al Qaeda guys to take care of Hezbollah more humanely than Israel. Because, you know, even Donald Trump said it. He's like, look, I understand you guys are attacking Hezbollah, but you can't destroy an entire building, plus the neighborhood, plus the entire effing city or village. Like, you can't do that. But that's what Israel consistently does. So, yeah, sadly, the radical Islamist head choppers is going to handle, is literally going to handle Hezbollah more humanely, handle the Lebanese people more humanely than Israel or pretty much the IDF. That is what pretty much Trump said in front of the entire world. Bro, and it was hilarious to watch.
He's a New Yorker, like you know a thing or two about
and
that.
Pulverizing. Get out of southern Lebanon. Get out of southern Syria. The president of Lebanon is in Washington.
Yeah, give back the Golan Heights, because they did. The Golan Heights is pretty much old Syria, a part of Syria that they annexed and took it, stole that.
Today, meeting with our president at the White House, saying, you got to pull Bibi back. He's bombing Gaza again. This guy's a warmonger. He's covering up because he doesn't want to go on trial for corruption.
Okay.
Oh, please. Well, the people of Israel will have their chance at the end of October to get him out. The sooner the better.
Actually, I'm be so honest with you. No, it's not. Hezbollah is not a threat to Lebanon, because is it Hezbollah that's bombing southern Lebanon? No. Was it Hezbollah that displaced 1.2 million Lebanese people? No. I mean, shoot, was it Hezbollah that killed over 4,000 Lebanese? No. All that is Israel. All that's the IDF. So sorry, but Hezbollah is not a threat to the Lebanese people, especially since Hezbollah is part of the Lebanese government in their parliament, by the way.
Let me bring in Andrew.
The sooner the better. And every time you challenge Bibi, you're called an anti-Semite. I'm called an anti-Semite. I have 2 Jewish sons. J.D. Vance is now being called an anti-Semite. We're condemning Bibi. We're not condemning Israel. And a lot of Israelis condemn Bibi too.
That is true, although a lot of Israelis also support his warmongering, which is an interesting contradiction, because internally, when he's at war, they support him, and yet he may well lose the election that's coming in later this year. And Andrew, you went to Iran with Vice News in May, and part of what you reported on was the use of AI gifs and memes as a weapon against the US and stuff. You know, had the Iranians proven to be, in terms of modern warfare, in terms of their tactics, a lot smarter perhaps than the Americans and Israelis anticipated?
Yeah, I would say not just smarter militarily, but also just like the average drive and political involvement of the typical person in Tehran was higher than you might see in the US. Like in the US, you have maybe like 5 to 10% of people who might say with their chest something like, I'm willing to die for America. But in Iran, they see themselves as part of this like kind of this continuous thread of an ancient civilization. And just the resolve of the people was very like extreme. But at the same time, I also went on the invite or like with an...
Now that is so true though. It's like, there's a lot of people who says, oh yeah, well, I would die for America. But I promise you, if God forbid that we actually put troops on the ground and we start having a draft, I guarantee you the same people that was cheerleading for this war that's of age, bro, you will stop hearing those guys talk. They won't post no more. You won't hear them talk about war ever again, because they're going to be afraid to get hit with that. Oh, I mean, bro, the draft is open, bro. No, go. No, we don't need no draft, actually. We just need all you guys who are supporting the war, sadly on the right. We got millions of you guys. There you go. You can go ahead and put boots on the ground and run. And if you're not willing to do so, you're a coward, because you're promoting a war that you wouldn't fight yourself. And you're only doing it because you got that video game mentality like your dumbass is playing Call of Duty or something. Wake the fuck up, bro. This is real life.
Approved press pass by the IRGC. So the places that I was able to go to were a bit limited. Like, there's only free speech when it comes to public protest to the extent that the government sanctions it. So I'm actually not sure if the perspective that I got was reflective of like the standard reality and median opinion of Iranians, but definitely the people that I saw were more committed and intensely devoted to the success of the war or the defeat of the U.S. than anyone that I saw on domestic soil.
I mean, Max Afterburner, from a military point of view, Trump keeps saying, look, we've destroyed their Air Force, their Navy, everything's done, the ballistic missile capability, all these things. And then we wake up most mornings and the Iranians somehow seem to be attacking Bahrain, Kuwait, everything else. Is like, well, these two things can't be true.
No, I'm telling you though, it's like, oh yeah, America will say, yeah, we committed over 200 strikes in Iran. All right, that's nice, but why are they still firing multiple missiles into all of our allies, all that, their infrastructure, our bases? It's like, I hear you guys. I hear it. I see it. Trust me, I see the video, and it is not AI. But Iran is still able to fire off those missiles, which is causing a huge problem throughout the Middle East. So, like, I'm hearing you, but I'm not really seeing no results. That's pretty fair to say.
True at the same time. What is actually going on here? I mean, it's very hard to work out who is telling the truth when we can only gauge it on missiles landing in these countries from Iran, who apparently have no military left.
Yeah, well, Iran's gotten really strong, as everybody can see, right? So over the decades, they've been given money, they've been given time, and what they've done is build multiple ballistic missile bunkers inside of mountains, right? Yeah. That's what they've taken all their money, $500 million a day, and built that. So Trump inherited a situation where this cancer has grown into a massive problem. These guys have gotten really strong, and I think the world is seeing that right now.
So why lie about it? Why keep telling everyone we've destroyed all their military?
Pierce, it's like a UFC fight, right? You could be absolutely crushing the opponent, but in round 5, round 6, the opponent can still get a jab in. So it's said that Iran.
But I think it's more than a jab, Max. I mean,
I'm sorry, but it's like we hit the guy a couple of times, and he run off to the crowd like, "Look, guys, I won." And the fighter's over there going like, "Oh, hold on, I'm still standing. What are you talking about? Like, I'm still ready for the next round." But you're over here like yelling at the crowd that you won. What's going on here? And that's how we're looking on the world stage, or how Trump is looking on the world stage. Bombing the shit out of Iran, hitting them with some good shots. They're not knocked out. They're still standing. And then he runs to the world like, you see, they're on their knees. They're waiting for me to tap them out. They're begging for me to stop whooping their ass. And Iran's just sitting there going like, actually, no, we're inviting you. We're hoping that you actually put them boots on the ground. Like,
I look at it and I try and always be fair-minded about these things, right? I don't want to have a horse in the race. I want to listen to all the arguments.
Which I appreciate. You bring on all sides, which I appreciate.
Which I think is really important when there's all this stuff going on. But I'm really struggling to equate what Donald Trump posts on a daily basis with reality. And maybe he is trying to game this, like his book, The Art of the Deal. I read it a few times. And, a lot of his playbook is from The Art of the Deal. But he's not dealing in New York real estate. He's not dealing in it's not a UFC fight. This is a real war with real people. And the Iranians, I think he's bitten off here more than he expected to chew.
Well, they've gotten a lot stronger than they should have ever gotten. Like, this action should have been taken a long time ago. But it said they started with 5,000 ballistic missiles at the beginning of the conflict months ago. Now they're down to around somewhere 2,000 to 3,000, which is obviously still a massive problem. But he's adapting real time. So you're basically seeing how a president negotiates with terrorists. We're watching this play out right now. It's not an easy problem to solve. I fought Iranian teams in Afghanistan. I fought them.
And shout out to my man, Lunatic Libertarian, for pretty much making a boxing reference. Shout out. He's like, shout out. He's like, said USA pulling a Charlie Zeninoff. I'm weak. No, literally, though. It's like, bro, what are you doing?